After a week of apartment hunting with my wife in Atlanta, Georgia, it's good to be back home in southeast Minnesota. This morning I hiked through the woods, camera in hand, for the first time in 2 weeks. Yesterday morning, the season's first hard frost covered lawns and rooftops, but this morning's temperature of 56 degrees was perfect for a hike. My destination was the Isaac Walton Wetlands, the top birding hotspot in Olmsted County. By the time I arrived, I was surprised by how much the colors had changed here during my 2 weeks away. As I hiked among deciduous trees, I recognized the songs of more than 20 bird species, with blue jays, American robins, northern cardinals, white-breasted nuthatches, and white-throated sparrows among them. Halfway into the hike, my ears perked up when I heard a belted kingfisher as it flew nearby. This bird, with its owl-sized head and protruding crest, eludes my camera on most days, including this one. Leaves of yellow, orange, and red dropped to the ground below. Soon, autumn will denude the trees and the forest floor will be covered with nutritious duff. Halfway through the hike, I stopped to greet a man whose path I had crossed several times on recent woodland hikes. His dog, a yellow Labrador retriever, picked up a stick in his mouth and nuzzled my welcoming hand. After I introduced myself, the man introduced himself as Rudy through a faded Scandinavian accent. Then he introduced his faithful companion, Oliver II. I wished Rudy and Oliver well as we parted ways. I hope we cross paths again. Much of the metropolis of Atlanta is heavily wooded, especially within residential areas, but being 1,000 miles southeast of Rochester, where I live in Minnesota, the leaves on deciduous trees have not yet changed. I kept my camera ready as I walked through the woods and climbed a hill. While birds sang all around, few offered photogenic opportunities. Finally, a group of 9 or 10 wild turkeys trotted, one by one, across the path that lay ahead. They loitered as I remained silent, watching and photographing them. The vibrant fall colors, bird song, meeting Rudy and Oliver, and watching the turkeys as they marched through the woods all combined to make a regular morning into a beautiful morning. Soon enough, Kazumi, our cat Muffin, and I will return to Atlanta. As we travel through the countryside, the trees will start to blaze with color. Kazumi and Muffin will move into a new apartment, and Kazumi will start her new job at Emory University Hospital next month. It's a beautiful place, but it will be hard to leave them. I will return home to Minnesota, visit them frequently, and move in with them sometime in the coming year. In another year, the Atlanta area and Georgia will become my new home. I have lived in Georgia before, but I have lived in Minnesota for 54 years in all. But Kazumi, Muffin, and I will adapt. 4 decades ago, during my years in the Air Force, I had little control over where I was stationed. I decided early on that it paid to be flexible and to make the best of whatever situation or location I was in. That attitude worked then, and it will work now. While I will miss Minnesota along with my family and friends who live here, Georgia will be good to us too. And I will return home to Minnesota to visit family, friends, and familiar places now and then too.